For more than half a century, the unmistakable voice of Sam Elliott has drifted through American cinema like a steady wind across open plains. Deep, patient, and grounded, it carries a kind of quiet authority that makes audiences pause the moment they hear it. Unlike many stars who burst into fame early, Elliott's journey was slow and deliberate. He wasn't the industry's obvious choice in his early years. Casting directors often remembered his face but struggled to place his name. Roles went to safer, more familiar actors, while he kept showing up to auditions, doing small parts, and building experience. Yet what seemed like delay was actually shaping something rare. Over time, Elliott became the kind of presence that could transform a scene without raising his voice. His career reminds us that influence doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it grows quietly until the world finally notices what has been there all along. The quiet beginnings. Sam Elliott was born on August 9, 1944 in Sacramento, California. His father, Henry Nelson Elliott, worked for the California Department of Fish and Game, while his mother, Glenn Mamie Sparks, provided the warmth and steadiness that held the household together. It was a respectable, modest upbringing, typical of post-war America. Yet beneath the routine lived a quiet tension between father and son. Henry believed in practical work and stability, values shaped by his generation. Young Sam, however, felt drawn towards storytelling and performance. The distance between those visions created a silence that lingered in their relationship. Elliott has often suggested that his father didn't fully understand his ambition to become an actor. That lack of encouragement didn't destroy his dream, but it shaped it. The desire to prove himself, and perhaps to be seen, became a quiet force guiding many of his choices. A move that changed the landscape. When Sam was 13, his family moved to Portland, Oregon. The relocation uprooted his teenage life and placed him in a new environment, filled with rain, forests, and wide outdoor spaces. Elliott was tall and somewhat awkward during those years, not the polished image audiences would later recognize. School didn't bring him much recognition, but the surrounding wilderness offered something else. Calm. Walking the trails and spending time outdoors allowed him to escape expectations and think about who he wanted to become. Those quiet landscapes would later feel strangely familiar when he stepped into Western roles on screen. Even then, something about the rhythm of nature seemed to match his personality. The stillness of those Oregon years helped shape the calm, grounded presence that would eventually define his acting style. Discovering a calling, Elliott briefly attended the University of Oregon before transferring to Clark College in Vancouver, Washington. During this period, he began exploring theater more seriously. Acting wasn't just entertainment to him, it felt like a way to understand people and the world around him. His father, however, struggled to accept the idea of a career built on performance. The disagreement was never explosive, but the lack of approval was clear. Elliott worked practical jobs, including land surveying, trying to balance responsibility with his growing artistic ambition. Eventually, the pull toward acting became impossible to ignore. In the mid-1960s, he made the bold decision to move to Los Angeles. He arrived without industry connections or guarantees, only the determination of someone who had already tried once to ignore his dream and realized he couldn't. The long Hollywood apprenticeship. Hollywood in the late 1960s wasn't easy for newcomers. Elliott worked wherever he could, waiting tables, parking cars, and taking small television roles that rarely lasted more than a scene. One of his earliest appearances came in a brief part in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid in 1969. The role was tiny, almost invisible, but it placed him in the same production as stars like Paul Newman and Robert Redford. Television became his training ground through appearances in shows such as Gunsmoke and Mission. Impossible. These roles rarely brought recognition, yet they built discipline. Elliott approached every job with seriousness, whether the role lasted 5 minutes or 50. That attitude slowly earned him respect among directors, even if the wider industry still hadn't decided where he belonged. Personal loss and determination. In 1970, Elliott received devastating news. His father had passed away. The man whose approval he had quietly hoped to earn never saw the success that eventually came. The loss left a mark that Elliott has acknowledged in interviews over the years. Rather than stopping him, it deepened his resolve. He continued working through the 1970s, building a career one role at a time. His first leading film role arrived with Lifeguard in 1976. The story followed a man questioning his life choices, and the role carried echoes of Elliott's own uncertainties. Although the film didn't turn him into an overnight star, it proved he could lead a story. The industry began to see what patient viewers had already noticed. He possessed a rare authenticity that cameras loved, love that lasted. While his career developed slowly, Elliott's personal life took a meaningful turn when he reconnected with actress Katharine Ross. They had first met during the filming of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, but didn't truly connect until years later on the set of The Legacy in 1978. Their relationship unfolded gradually, without the spectacle often associated with celebrity romance. They married in 1984 and welcomed their daughter, Cleo Rose Elliott, the same year. Their partnership became one of Hollywood's quieter success stories, steady, private, and deeply supportive. Elliott has often spoken simply about their relationship, describing Ross as the love of his life. In an industry where relationships frequently fade under pressure, their marriage has endured for decades, becoming one of the most stable foundations in his life. Finally, finding the spotlight. By the late 1980s, Elliott's presence on screen was becoming impossible to overlook. His performance as Wade Garrett in Roadhouse in 1989 introduced him to a broader audience. The role wasn't the lead, but his calm authority gave the film a grounded center. A few years later, his portrayal of Virgil Earp in Tombstone alongside Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer further solidified his reputation. Elliott didn't dominate scenes with theatrics. Instead, he anchored them with authenticity. By the mid-1990s, he had become the actor filmmakers called when they needed a character to feel real. His long years of patience had quietly transformed into a respected career built on reliability and depth. Recognition. After decades, a major wave of recognition arrived in 2018 when Elliott appeared in A Star is Born, directed by and starring Bradley Cooper alongside Lady Gaga. Elliott played Bobby Maine, the older brother whose complicated love and regret shaped the film's emotional core. The performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, his first after decades in the industry. Critics praised the subtle power of his work, noting how much emotion he communicated through stillness and restraint. For many viewers, it felt like a long overdue acknowledgement of talent that had always been there. Elliott accepted the attention with the same calm demeanor that had carried him through his career. Grateful, but never overly dramatic about it. Life still moving forward. Even in his later years, Elliott continues to work with the same dedication that marked his early career. His role as Shay Brennan in the television series 1883 earned widespread praise and an Emmy nomination. The character, a weary guide leading settlers across dangerous territory, seemed perfectly suited to Elliott's grounded style. Off-screen, he and Katharine Ross live a relatively quiet life in Malibu, far from the constant noise of Hollywood. Their days are simpler now. Walks by the ocean, time with family, and occasional projects that genuinely interest him. At 80, Elliott stands as proof that patience and authenticity can build something lasting. His legacy isn't just the voice, the mustache, or the Western roles. It's the example of a man who stayed true to himself long enough for the world to finally understand what it was seeing.